When your stepfather came back from France, was he angry that you went to the ball? Asked Holmes. No, he was quite calm. He laughed and said that you can never stop a woman from doing what she wants. Tell me more about Mr. Angel. When did you see him again? The next day after the ball, he came to our house. He wanted to know if we had got home safely. After that, we met twice for walks. But then my stepfather came back, and Mr. Hosmer could not come to the house anymore. Why not? My stepfather does not like visitors. He says that a woman should be happy with her own family. But I always said to my mother first, I need to have my own family. And I did not have one yet. Did Mr. Angel try to see you at all? He wrote to me. He said that while my stepfather was in France, it was better not to meet. We would write to each other instead. He wrote to me every day. I collected the letters in the morning so my stepfather would not know. Were you engaged to him at that time? Yes, Mr. Holmes. We got engaged after our very first walk. Hosmer, Mr. Angel, worked as a cashier in an office on Leadenhall Street. Which office? That is the trouble, Mr. Holmes. I do not know. Where did he live? He lived at his workplace. And you do not know his address? No. Only that it was Leadenhall Street. Then where did you send your letters? To the post office on Leadenhall Street, to be kept until he collected them. He said that if letters came to his office, his colleagues would laugh at him for getting letters from a lady. I offered to type my letters, like he did his, but he did not want that. He said that when I wrote by hand, the letters felt truly from me, but typed letters felt cold, as if a machine was between us. You can see how much he cared about me, Mr. Holmes. That is very interesting, said Holmes. Tell me more about him. He was a very shy man. He liked to walk with me in the evening, not in the daytime. He did not want people to notice him. His voice was soft and quiet. When he was young, he had a bad throat illness. After that, his voice was always weak and a little difficult. He always dressed well, but his eyes were weak, just like mine. He wore dark glasses. The wedding and the disappearance. What happened when your stepfather went to France again? Asked Holmes. Mr. Hosmer Angel came to see us again. He said we should get married before my stepfather came back. He was very serious. He made me swear on the Bible that whatever happened, I would always be true to him. My mother agreed with him. She said it showed how much he loved me. My mother liked him very much, even more than I did. Was your mother happy that you were getting married so quickly? Yes. When they started talking about getting married in a week, I asked about my father, my stepfather. But they both said, do not worry about him. Tell him afterwards. My mother said she would sort everything out with him. I did not like that very much. I did not want to do anything in secret. So I wrote a letter to my stepfather in Bordeaux at the French office of his company. But the letter came back to me on the very morning of the wedding. He had already left France and come back to England. So the letter did not reach him? No, sir. He left before it arrived. So the wedding was planned for Friday. Was it a church wedding? Yes, sir, but very quiet. At St. Saviour's Church, near King's Cross. After the wedding, we were going to have breakfast at the St. Pancras Hotel. Hosmer got us a cab, a two-wheeled one, but there were two of us, so he put me and my mother in it. He got into another cab, a four-wheeled one. That was the only other cab in the street. We arrived at the church first. We waited for Hosmer to step out of his cab, but he did not come out. When the cab driver got down and looked inside, there was nobody there. The driver said he had seen the man get in with his own eyes. That was last Friday, Mr. Holmes, Since then, I have heard nothing. I do not know what happened to him. It seems to me that you have been treated very badly, said Holmes gently. Oh, no, sir. He was too good and kind to leave me. All that morning he kept saying to me, whatever happens, be true to me. Even if something unexpected separates us, I will always remember you and come back. Those were strange words for a wedding morning, but now they make sense. So you think something bad happened to him? Yes, sir. I think he felt some danger. Otherwise, why say such things? And then something really did happen. You have no idea what it could be? No, I do not. One more question. How did your mother react? She was angry. She said I must never speak of it again. And your stepfather? I told him too. He also thought something had happened, and that I would hear from Hosmer again. He said, why would anyone bring you to the door of a church and then leave? If he had taken my money or married me and got my money, that would make sense. But Hosmer never wanted my money. He was very independent. And yet, what happened? Why does he not write? It is driving me mad. I cannot sleep at night. She took out a small handkerchief and began to cry. I will look into your case, said Holmes. He stood up. I am sure we will find an answer. Do not think about it anymore. Try to forget Mr. Hosmer Angel. So you think I will not see him again? I am afraid not. Then what happened to him? Leave that question to me. Please give me a description of Mr. Angel and his letters. I put an advertisement in the newspaper last Saturday, she said. Here is the clipping. And here are 4 of his letters. Thank you. And your address? 31 Lion Place, Camberwell. And where does your stepfather work? He is a salesman for Westhouse and Marbank. They are a big wine importer on Fenchurch Street. Thank you. You have told your story very clearly. Please leave the papers here. Try to put this matter behind you. You are very kind, Mr. Holmes. But I cannot forget. I will be true to Hosmer. When he comes back, I will be waiting. Despite her silly hat and simple face, there was something noble about her. Holmes and Watson respected her simple faith. She left the papers on the table and went away. She promised to return if Holmes called her. Holmes thinks about the case. Holmes sat down in his armchair. He thought for a few minutes in silence. Then he took down his old clay pipe. He lit it and leaned back. Blue smoke drifted slowly around the room. His face was calm and still. Quite an interesting woman, he said. I found her more interesting than her little problem. The problem itself is not very original. I have seen similar cases before in Andover in 1877, and one in The Hague last year, but some of the details were new. Very interesting details. You noticed a great deal about her that I completely missed, said Watson. You saw everything, Watson, but you did not pay attention. You did not know where to look, so you missed what was important. I always say, look at the sleeves, or the knees of the trousers in a man, or the shoelaces. Now describe her to me again. All right. A wide gray straw hat with a red feather, a black jacket with black beads, a brown dress, a little darker than coffee color, small purple details at the neck and sleeves, gray gloves, worn through at the right index finger, small round gold earrings. Overall, decently dressed, but simply. Well done, Watson. You noticed colors, but you missed the most important things. Holmes explained everything he had seen. Look at her sleeves. Plush is a very useful material. It shows marks very clearly. I saw a double line just above the wrist That is exactly where a typist presses against the desk when she works. It is a very clear mark. I also looked at her face. I saw the marks of a pince nez on both sides of her nose. So I asked about weak eyesight in typewriting. That surprised me, said Watson, but it was obvious. Then I looked at her boots. They were different. One had a decorated toe, the other was plain. On one, only the bottom 2 buttons were fastened out of 5. On the other, the first, third, and fifth were fastened. If a neatly dressed young woman leaves home in odd boots, half-buttoned, there is only one explanation: she left in a great hurry. What else? She wrote a note before she left home, but after she was already dressed. You saw that her right glove was torn at the index finger. But you did not see that both the glove and the finger were stained with violet ink. She wrote quickly and dipped her pen too deep. It must have been this morning, or the ink would have faded. Remarkable, said Watson. Now, down to business. Please read me the advertisement about the missing Mr. Hosmer Angel. The advertisement, Watson, read the advertisement aloud. Missing. On the morning of the 14th, a gentleman named Hosmer Angel, about 5 feet 7 inches tall, strong build, sallow complexion, black hair, a little bald in the center, thick black side whiskers and mustache, dark glasses, slight difficulty speaking, was wearing a black silk-faced coat, black waistcoat, gold watch chain, gray Harris tweed trousers, and brown gaiters over elastic-sided boots. Known to work in an office on Leadenhall Street. Anyone with information. That is enough, said Holmes. Now, the letters. They are very ordinary. No real clues in them except that he once quotes Balzac. But there is one very important detail. Did you notice it? The letters are typewritten, said Watson. Not only that, the signature is also typewritten. Look, Hosmer Angel printed neatly at the bottom. There is a date, but no address, only Leadenhall Street. A typewritten signature is a very important detail. In fact, it tells us almost everything. What does it tell us? Can you really not see it, Watson? Is it not obvious? Perhaps he was afraid someone would recognize his handwriting and use it against him in court. No, that is not it. But I will now write 2 letters. One to a company in the city, the other to the girl's stepfather, Mr. Windybank. I will ask him to come here tomorrow at 6 o'clock. It is better to speak with a man of the family. For now, Watson, we can do nothing. Let us put the case aside until tomorrow.
Подпишись, пожалуйста, или хотя бы поставь лайк. Один лайк не меняет мир, но меняет путь того, кто делится смыслом.